I'd like to call to order the Douglas Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Wednesday, October 9th at 7:01 PM. First agenda item is a discussion with NORTHBROWN LLC, an update on North Village. Ed?
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening.
I sent over an updated unit sales spreadsheet. I don't know, did you folks get them?
Yes.
So we are continuing construction in phase 2. We have some projected sales coming up in the next couple of weeks, so hopefully that will go off without a problem. I noted on the agenda there's a reference to some items that we didn't put them on, so I'm not sure what the issues are. So I don't know if Dan did or
Yep.
Bill.
Actually, Bill asked to have them put on, but
Okay.
Okay, what are you blaming me for?
I didn't say you.
I'm in trouble.
No, I said Dan.
everybody's...
My ears are highly acute these days.
Yours is coming up.
Hey, Bill?
So at the time the agenda was prepared, we didn't have a schedule. Neil had submitted a schedule, it should be in your packet. With regard to the lot, I guess the CO is not lot releases, but so lot 36, is that in phase 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the issue that is coming up is
Okay.
we have correspondence from the fire chief, and the decision allows the fire chief to comment on the turnaround and the suitability of a turnaround at the end of the road. Currently, there's a gravel turnaround, and the chief has made it clear he'd like to see a paved turnaround for his apparatus. So that poses the question on this occupancy that's going to be sought relatively soon with the condition of the turnaround, which is gravel. I know they do have some paving, I guess a few weeks out. I'm assuming that's the remainder of phase 2.
Right.
Which has a natural T turnaround, which I assume we're gonna have
Right.
be.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm looking to the board for direction on how you wanna handle the occupancies that are sought before the paving is in place to the satisfaction of the fire chief.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, as maybe the board's aware, maybe not, we paved half of phase 2, and put in a gravel turnaround at the end. The occupancies that we're looking for are in the building immediately adjacent, the first building's on the left as you enter into the phase, adjacent to where the pump station is and the cistern. So, and of course, there's a turnaround with the cistern. So, and in addition, we're projecting to finish the paving in the next month and a half, up to the end of phase 2 and put in the turnaround. Tim and Neil met with the fire chief and with John Furno a couple days ago, I guess, and he's with the understanding that the paving of phase 2 would be completed by the end of the year. He seemed to be okay with the situation as it is. So I'll leave it to the board, but I think certainly with respect to the first three occupancies that we're looking for, which are right at the beginning of the phase, I don't think that there should be an issue.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, go ahead.
I mean, there's no way it's gonna be paved by 10/18, is there? Unless I'm reading the closing date wrong. I mean, as a realistic matter.
No, no. That's not, the paving in front of these units has been done for a while.
I understand, but my understanding was that the deficiency in the turnaround, which I assume is at the end of the roadway or the area that we're discussing.
Well,
Am I missing
again,
that?
there is a temporary turnaround right now
That's
at
done with
the end
chiefs.
of the
I'm
phasing.
sorry.
At the end of the phasing.
Which the chief said he's happy with?
As of our last meeting with the understanding that we would complete the paving by the end of the year and do the turnaround at the end of the phase, he indicated that he was.
Is that your understanding, Bill?
The last correspondence I have from the chief is what I shared at your last meeting. It was in your packet, where he said he was not satisfied with a gravel turnaround. So, I mean, this is new to me, and I reiterate time and time again, if they have meetings like this, I want to be a part of those meetings. I'm not sure why I wasn't.
Mike, did you have something?
Well, I was gonna add what Bill just said about him being part of the meeting, because other than that, we only have their word on this. You don't have any correspondence from them or anything?
No.
No, so, we went through this all last year, and now we're back again doing it this year.
Well-
and- Well, what?
I'm sorry.
No, well, what?
Go- go-
No, good, no, good, you said well, good.
Phase one, we had the same situation. We did not have a paved turnaround at the end of phase one. At any point, what we had was a gravel turnaround. That's what we had at phase one, for the whole period of phase one. So we're not proposing anything different than what we did at phase one.
But it seems like the fire chief was proposing that it not be gravel, and it seems like evidently you're not doing that, because you're doing what you did last year, and you think that's okay, but it's not okay with the fire chief, as far as we know. So I'm not sure how come
Well,
this
again, we've had
disagreements.
discussions, since the last ZBA meeting,
Yeah,
we met with Bill, Tim and Neil met with Bill, and then the issue was the turnaround. Subsequent to that, they had discussions with the fire chief. And again, this is what was proposed then. It's up to the board. I mean,
Yeah.
the decision says, you know, a temporary turnaround, okay? Doesn't say paved turnaround, it says a temporary
It says
turnaround.
acceptable to the fire
To the
chief.
fire chief.
right,
Right,
okay.
right.
Sean?
So, I mean, I guess we can have a understand, if the fire chief confirms what it was discussed with him recently, right? Then that's, I would propose that. I mean, if, again, the email that Bill had with the fire chief was a couple months ago, month and a half ago.
Sean?
By my tone of voice, I apologize if I misconvey, if I failed to convey, I suppose, the point I was trying to make. It looks like what you're describing is that you can have the final appropriate, satisfactory turnaround done for the 1/10/20 closing. Is that correct or incorrect?
The 1/10/20.
It's January.
January
Yes,
10th.
yes, that's correct. Yeah.
So if for instance, if the board was to say to you right now, put the turnaround in by 10/18, you couldn't actually accomplish that
No,
physically. So it's not up to the board. I mean, physically, there would be a limitation
No,
in terms of what
and-
could be put in.
right, no, we
But if,
could not.
but if, for instance, the board were to say, yeah, 10/18, 11/8, and 10/18 are good closing dates that we'll give you the permits for.
Mm-hmm.
But if that road isn't done on 1/10, we're not giving you nothing.
That's fine.
If you'll excuse my colloquialism. I'm just curious if that is,
Fine.
but if that is a sensible if that's an accomplishment, it's not something that could truly be accomplished.
Yes.
Which it would seem to me you could put down the layers necessary.
Yes.
Right down to those bituminous, like a fancy word,
Right.
bituminous, right?
Right.
That even that could be put down.
Right.
To that degree.
Right.
And that whatever safety or emergency measures, that the chief would come in and put in a request between then and that closing date would be something that you'd of course be amenable to doing, because you would want to, of course, get those 3 closings done.
Sure.
Right? And that was what, I guess, my point that I was looking to get at.
Right,
So it really is up to the board.
right.
I mean, in order to do these closings, you need our agreement. And the way to get it, well, you, of course, short of going to court and calling down lighting upon us and doing all of the things, no doubt, that every
We had
one of
that done
us
last
deserves.
week, didn't we?
But you need to get those 3 closings done.
I need to get the 3 closings done, and that's our first objective. Our second objective is not to have to pave something for a month or 2 that we'll then have to rip up, because if we have to put a turnaround at the end of the pavement right now, we're just gonna have to rip it up in another month when we do when we pave to the end of the road.
But
But
is it-
again, because those 3 units are at the beginning of this phase, in terms of safety, fire protection, whatever, there's certainly, they're adjacent to the,
Next to the cistern.
next to the cistern, and the fire truck can turn around where it turns around in the cistern.
But-
So we're just trying to be practical.
But what I took away from what Bill was stating is that, in fact, in terms of the chief's public safety concern, that temporary road, in essence, would need to be put in order
That's
to
the last
that
communication.
you understand.
That's the last communication I have from the chief, yes. An email.
Just to be clear, Ed, you said it'd only be a month, but the paving plant's closed from December 1st
I was just
till
gonna
April
bring that
1st.
up.
Right.
So it'll be more like 4 months.
What?
I don't know
It
how
would
he's
be
gonna
more-
get it
No,
done.
we're gonna do the paving this fall.
Yeah, but you said you'd have to rip it up a month later, but that's not, it'll be down for at least 4 months.
No. No, we're talking, I think what we're talking about is a
The
We're talking
temporary.
about going right
A
through.
temporary, we're talking about
The cul-de-sac.
paving phase 2 all the
Finishing.
way, right, by the time the plant's shut down,
All right,
okay?
well,
And put the
misunderstanding.
turnaround at
Okay.
the end. What we're trying to avoid is putting
Yeah, and ripping it
a
up.
turnaround halfway up that we then have to rip out.
Which is what public safety is saying we need, according to Bill.
Right.
So,
Am I correct, or do I not
if the
understand?
chief gives me an email saying, he's okay with the temporary turnaround, the issue goes away.
At the whole road?
But I don't have that, and I was unaware of this meeting.
I don't know how to decipher.
Okay, I'm
I'm not trying
The
to,
decision,
I'm not coming to you, Bill.
the
I don't-
decision
No.
requires this as a condition.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay,
could I
paving
make
will
a
be done.
suggestion
Yeah,
that
that's what we're
these
doing.
meetings, these little side meetings, not occur without
Of
Mr.
the
Cundiff
whole road?
in attendance?
I
And if
agree.
Mr.
Of the rest
Cundiff
of the road,
is
yeah.
not in the
One
office,
second,
then the meeting
I'll
will
let
have
you
to
speak
wait.
1 second. Bill, on the board's behalf, could you ask the chief to include you in any future meetings? so
I
that-
have,
So
I
we're up
have.
to speed?
I think I can't explain why I wasn't there.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know
Well,
what happened.
just so there's no, this doesn't happen, if you could ask him to include you in the future.
Sure.
On the board's behalf, thank you. You know, what, Tim had his hand up for quite a while. Tim, go ahead.
Tim Barlow.
It was about the paving.
We didn't meet with the chief to circumvent Bill. Bill had asked me at the meeting we had 2 months prior to this, or a month and a half prior, to do some research, present him with some options for a turnaround. At the meeting with him, I asked Bill, what would you like? And he said, you tell me what it is you can do. You go do some research and come back to me with some options. I met with the chief and John to do that research, now come back to Bill with the options that I got from the chief and John. So nobody's trying to circumvent Bill out of the conversation.
No,
I'm simply, this meeting happened before we've actually finalized what we're doing.
no, nobody's saying that's what happens, just that to keep the information consistent, it's best.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do,
Uh-huh.
but it's hard to please 5 people all at once. I'm trying to get all my information gathered together and then go back to Bill with it.
Okay. Pam?
So it sounds like we're not being presented really with anything. Is that correct, Ed? You're giving some sort of a answer, but the options, as I understand it, have not been discussed or put through to the final recommendation of the fire chief.
The fire chief, when we met with him, indicated to us that he is okay with the temporary turnaround if we are gonna pave the rest of Phase 2 before the end of this season. He asked me to put that in writing, which we are in the process of, and then we would present it to Bill.
A lot of stuff has to happen.
Yes.
And it is, Pam, it's wheels that are in motion, just that this meeting is before all those are put together.
Mike?
I just asked Ed, this little chart that we have on the schedule.
Yeah.
And you can correct me if we're wrong. The paving says it's gonna be done on 11/4 of the road. The second from the bottom.
That's what I'm anticipating.
Yes, that's the goal we're shooting
Yeah,
for, Mike.
that's what I'm shooting for.
No, I'm just asking, this is
Yeah.
what it says, so.
Yeah, that's
He
what
says
we're-
yes, it will be done, and then you're saying yes, it'll be in. I'm
Well,
not
Ed
trying to
said
give you a
before
hard
the
time,
end of
just-
this paving season, which isn't 11/4. 11/4 is prior to the end of the paving season. But that's what we're trying to
Yep,
accomplish.
yep.
yes.
Just on one other point then.
Yeah, go ahead.
In all fairness in this whole thing, Bill works for the town and we rely on him for the information. You're the applicant, you're coming in and you're giving us information. I don't feel that that's the proper way to go about it without something from the chief, or he should have been here if he felt that way, I guess.
I totally agree, Mike.
Yep,
We're-
no, I'm
we're
not trying to give you a
finalizing
hard time,
that. No
but
one's
you're
trying
asking us to make a decision, but it's based off of what you're telling us.
No, you can make a decision based on what we've given you for information, once we provide it to Bill, so we don't have to wait another month. You could say to Bill, if these guys come in with something from the chief, then we're okay with it. You could certainly say that tonight.
Or we could say many things tonight, but whether or not I'm comfortable saying that is another thing, that's all. You're getting upset about it, but I'm trying to
Well,
just
it's-
understand it, that's all. I just got handed this when I walked in, so I'm just trying to.
Sean's got the floor.
May I ask, and if the question sounds belligerent, I apologize in advance.
That's all right, Sean.
I'm not trying to stop your 3 closings from occurring. In fact, I can understand why they're an economic necessity and they're important to you to have them done. Are you confident enough with what the chief said to you, that if we said we convey the power to Bill to give these, to go along with these closings, upon the fire chief sending an email saying, yep, I'd be satisfied with exactly with what was described, that would be something that you would feel comfortable, that you'd feel secure in, just given the fact that we don't have any more meetings until November, of course, after your closing dates?
Yes.
You're that confident that the fire chief would go along, that the fire chief
Yes,
is
he
satisfied
has
with
to.
it?
It's
No, I'm
in the
just,
town permit that he has to agree, and the discussion we had on site was just what was conveyed. Now, we don't have that in writing, and I don't want to put words in the chief's mouth, but yes, I can see you need something in writing from the chief that states that.
but in terms of taking that gamble, would you feel comfortable in taking that gamble that in fact the chief will say that? Or do you know, is that something to be unreasonably to
Yes, no, I
ask?
feel the chief will say that, yes.
But it appears you have 3 more closings before the end of the paving season,
Yes,
correct?
We have,
yes, I'd like to.
A total of 5 between now and the end of the paving season.
well, depending upon when the paving season ends.
Well, usually it's mid
Yeah.
until late December.
But we have the 3, and whether, the 12/18 and the 11/20,
Right,
yeah.
and the 11/8.
No, those are the 3. The 3,
Yeah,
the
on the
11 on the top, right. So we think probably by the 11/20 it'll be done, in all likelihood. You know, these, it's, Dan, it's new construction, so.
Weather
you know,
dependent too, right?
It's, everything's
I
dependent.
mean, what if,
It's,
what
you know,
if?
it's new construction, yeah. You convey the property when the unit's done. And so, and again, in terms of this meeting, I mean, it's not,
No, I
we're
understand.
not
It's just-
syncing everything to the ZBA meetings. We're proceeding as diligently as we can, and sometimes things don't all fall together for the night of your meeting. So that's where we are.
And, I mean, I believe what Bill's telling us with his discussion with the fire chief, and I believe Tim, it's just, for some reason, they're not in sync,
Well,
you know? And that's,
the email from the fire chief was some time ago, okay? Since then, we've had discussions with Bill, and we've had discussions with the fire chief and John Furno in an attempt to address the issue. So, yes, is it not completely resolved this evening yet? No, I don't think I represented that it was.
Bill, you haven't had any correspondence, excuse me, Pam, from the chief or from the highway superintendent?
No, the last conversation we had, it was not acceptable. So that's the only reason I brought it up, because I knew they were gonna be looking for closings, and I knew it was contradictory to what the permit said.
Mr. Chairman, the only thing that I'm worried about is that if we okay these certain permits up to the end of the year, that then there's a additional pressure being put on the fire chief. Actually, it would be the ultimate end for him to say that, for us to say that we've okayed these permits, if it's okay with the chief. And now the pressure is totally on the chief to say, well, it's okay then, because you've got the permits. I mean, pressure builds in these type of cases, and I just, it's very
Well, the
sad.
permit, that's what the permit says. The
Oh, no,
permit
I-
says the fire chief decides, okay?
I know, but with more pressure being put on him, there's more pressure for him to decide in the positive, Ed. And to say, well, it's okay with me, you know? And that's not, I just don't wanna be working like that,
That hasn't been my experience, but,
yeah.
you know, perhaps it's yours.
It's just not fair to him.
No, it's the board's pleasure. Is there anybody else that'd like to speak on this? Okay. How would the board like to proceed? Mike?
Question, just for clarity for myself. The only issue is the approval from the fire chief. Is that correct, Bill?
Well, in the decision, it says that it's his decision in the approval of this
No,
development.
I understand that, but that's the only issue that we have as far as.
Right,
issues.
I was seeing a conflict, which is why, and trying to bring it up to your attention in advance of it being an
Yep,
issue.
no, that's fine.
That's the only reason I brought it up. So I'm planning on just still operating in conformance with the decision. I will expect some documentation from the chief saying it's suitable to him. Otherwise, I can't authorize an occupancy.
Mike?
Oh,
Sorry, Sean.
Gotcha.
Oh, please.
I'm gonna make a motion so you
Oh,
can
well.
say whatever you're gonna say.
But my understanding is, and I apologize, sir, you remember my name, and it's discourteous of me to fail to remember yours. You're confident that the fire department, the chief of the fire department is going to put into writing, and that, in essence, all the requirements have been met under the very elaborate special permit, or whatever the program was called, back when it was authorized by the selectmen. Relatively so. You don't know you can't perfectly know the future. I'm not saying that, but you feel very, very confident about that fact.
I'm not sure what the question is.
Well,
I mean,
if
I
I'm not
think-
misunderstanding, if I could, the issue is that Bill is concerned that the fire chief's conditions haven't been met. And that and that permits are gonna be issued without the fire chief's concerns being met. And it looks like the timing of when your closing dates are, you're gonna want a little bit, I'm assuming you're gonna want a little bit of time to know that you're gonna confidently get those permits. And if the only thing holding it back is the letter from the fire chief, then all we need is the letter to the fire chief to Bill, and then the issue is resolved. And tell me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
And then the only reason I'm picking on this poor gentleman is because he made the representation, the chief said that he was comfortable with it. That's the only reason, and I'm not picking on it, I don't mean to pick, again, I don't mean to pick on it. I'm not trying to personally insult you.
Here's the condition that we are trying to satisfy in the permit. Just read that highlighted,
Okay.
3 sentences. Okay. I believe the chief will say that we will have a turnaround that he deems satisfactory.
And I wasn't,
And we didn't come here tonight to ask the board to authorize the issuance of the occupancy permit. That these items were placed on the agenda by Bill. This is the issue that Bill brought up. We always understood and understand that we have to make the fire chief happy, and that's what we've been trying to do. And that's what we're representing here tonight. We're not asking for dispensation. We're not asking for some favors.
So you're dealing
Which is-
directly with the chief?
So yes, because the chief has the responsibility under the permit.
Right. And Bill has oversight responsibility with our commissioner.
Well, Bill has plenary power in the town, that's for sure.
Mike?
Ed just reminded me of something as he was speaking. We can't make a motion and vote on anything because we're only up for discussion.
That's true.
So,
Yeah, we're not asking for,
Excuse me, please, but the gravel's in place, right?
yes,
Gravel's there.
And the gravel's there, and the chief's seen the gravel, and
yes.
he didn't say, hey, this has gotta be paved.
At one time, the chief did want it paved, when he thought it was gonna take us longer throughout this winter to pave the rest of Phase 2.
Okay, but the gravel's there, it's
But
in
the
place.
gravel's there, yes.
Okay, nice and solid, it's there.
Solid, compacted, 100-foot radius.
Okay,
And the
so,
gravel, I believe, has been tested. Gravel's been tested by the town's testing company, and it was compacted? It was compacted.
yeah, I mean, what
And
else?
again, no different than what we did in
Right,
phase one.
right, that's all.
but the bottom line is, the chief has got to be satisfied.
I agree totally. The chief thought this timeline was gonna take longer. He thought we were gonna go into next year before we had the rest of Phase 2 paved. We're gonna have that work done sooner. I met with the chief on, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday, and he seemed to be happy that if we can meet that timeline, he would be okay with these occupancies we're asking for.
It's his decision.
It is, and we will continue the discussion with the chief, and I will provide Bill with something in writing from the chief. Or the chief can come down, shoot an email, or come and see Bill.
All right, if you could just get whatever correspondence you have from the chief to Bill, so he can get it to us, that'd be, I guess it'd be acceptable.
Well, if we can get something in writing out of the chief, or if he's verbally gonna shoot an email to Bill, I don't know, that's up to the chief, but in some way, the chief will
Well, in
have
order
to
to meet
get
the
his.
condition, just ask the chief to get it in writing,
Yeah,
so that it meets the condition and everybody's on the same,
it's clear. Yeah,
everybody's on the
okay,
same.
agreed.
Okay. Anything else?
Not for me.
Congratulations on all your plantings. I took a ride.
Where,
My
Harvard?
goodness, you
Yeah.
planted an awful lot of
You can
little,
thank Mrs. Scanlon, she helped quite a bit with that.
wow.
Great. Thank
How
you.
many little plantings did you put in each of those?
I don't know, but we got, what, 300 in total?
Oh, yeah, gobs and gobs.
Yeah.
Fun.
Well, I'm terribly flattered that I have dispensers.
No, she just did the research, helped us get them. Yeah.
Dispensary.
No, she
You're the sick, I think. I'm not sick.
Well, I hope they all set in and live over the winter.
we do.
You know, I mean,
Supposed to.
That's no dispensation.
Promises.
Heal the sick.
Have a good night.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See ya.
Okay,
They see you guys next week.
No, no, 4 days, 4 days, every 4 days.
the next agenda item is case number 2019-11, public hearing for Tom Evers, 200 Northwest Main Street. This case was posted in the town hall and advertised in the Telegram and Gazette, and reads as follows. The Town of Douglas Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing at 7:15 for Thomas Evers, who's filed for a special permit pursuant to MGL Chapter 40A, Section 9, the Douglas zoning bylaws, Section 3.4.3, non-conforming structures in a rural agricultural RA zone district. The applicant owner seeks relief from the side yard setback requirement of 25 feet to remove and replace an existing non-conforming garage. The existing garage is located 8 feet from the property line, and the proposed garage will be located 8.5 feet from the same property sideline. Property is located at 200 Northwest Main Street, Assessors Map 174, Parcel 26. At this time, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Mrs. Holmes, and I'm going to abstain from this hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so could we have the applicant or whoever's going to be presenting for the applicant? Come on up. Sure, come on up.
I'm Mike Labby with Allen Engineering Associates. I'm here representing
Mike,
Mr.
what's your
Evers.
last name again?
Labby, L-A-B-B-E, yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna give you a
You're
bigger
gonna
copy.
do this by yourself, or do you want Mr. and Mrs. Evers to come up?
If they feel like coming up.
Whatever you need.
If they wanna come up, they're
Okay.
certainly welcome to. I just made larger copies of the plans, so it's
Good.
easier to see through.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. If you want. You don't have to, but.
Bring up this, so see.
Sure. So, I mean, as you can
I can
see.
hear better up here.
Sure.
I can hear better.
Sure. As you can see from the ZBA plan in front of you, there's an existing garage down close to the reservoir.
It's a garage?
Yeah, it's an existing garage now. And it's approximately 8 feet off the property sideline as it is. It's an older building. It definitely needs to be taken down and replaced. And Mr. Evers is proposing a 40-foot by 24-foot garage, basically in the same footprint. Even he's going to push it a little bit further from the property line, but that's the plan for now. It's going to be at the same distance from the reservoir, so he's not getting any closer to the reservoir from it.
There is only, may I speak?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm new to this.
Just
Yeah,
give us
just say who
give us
you
your
are.
name.
Mr. Thomas Evers, this is my property here. Thank you, and my wife here. There is only one little corner of the building that is under that 8-foot. As you go down, at the other end of the building is almost more than 20 feet away, so it's just that one corner that
Where it's angled.
shrinks it in, yeah. So we're gonna kick it over the other way a little to gain on that a little bit. We've been through conservation, that's all been approved on us already, yeah. It's an old building, we just wanna take down and put up a new one. This is our home, we've been up there 40 years, we built everything here.
Yeah, and as you can see from the site, it's kind of narrow down there, so it's definitely not a lot of room
The whole
to.
site is.
Yeah.
And yes, that driveway is tough, yeah.
Excuse me. Can I talk?
Yes, you may.
So it's really, taking it down, putting it back, you're just putting up a new building.
Correct,
So everything's really staying the same,
correct.
give or take a couple inches here.
I'm gonna build it a couple feet bigger, but away from the property line.
Okay,
That's what we're doing.
okay.
To make it concentric, it's got odd shapes, so we're trying to make it uniform.
You gonna use the same foundation, or you gonna put?
There's no foundation there now.
Oh, okay. So
This
what are you
is
gonna-
up on,
Are you putting the foundation in?
we will dig a foundation and put the footing in.
Okay. So basically, it's gonna be the same.
Same thing.
Larry, you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, you're the guy that stamped the plans.
I am the guy who's absolutely.
Yeah, you're the guy that stamps the plans,
Yep,
you know?
that's the condition.
And
These
you
are the
do-
conditions.
Yeah, and it's,
So I have a question. Do you have plans for this building?
Yes. How am I doing so far?
Fantastic.
A
Jump right on
plus.
that, that was awesome. Pretty quick.
Bring them to you?
Oh, absolutely. Where else?
how's it going?
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm new to this, so.
Me too. And I'm not a builder, so I'm just gonna look at the pretty pictures
There we go.
somebody drew.
No, this is my
Okay, so this is gonna be the front and the side and the door.
78 years.
Okay, and I'll pass this around to everybody. And that's from the top. I'm gonna pass this around to my builder friends.
Yep.
Just one question, just while we're dealing with papers.
Absolutely.
Sir, will it be higher than what it presently is?
Yes, because of the way the roof's gonna go this way instead of the other way.
So it's
Different direction.
not a significant amount?
No.
John, when I was 20.
So it's gonna be a one-story building?
Oh, yes. See, you can see the trusses are there, so
Okay.
it's just drive in here. It won't be a second floor or anything up
So
there.
you're gonna drive down further?
John is a guy.
It's not that far away when you
Yeah,
think of it, and it's
yeah.
gonna be more for, put everything in for the winter and lock the
Okay,
door.
I see what you're
It's not a
saying.
daily in and out garage,
Okay.
correct?
Okay.
You know, all out, snow fighting.
I mean, because you got three-car garages
That's full.
underneath.
Came and picked me up with the dump truck.
Like
and
mine.
that's what I came up with.
Oh, really? Your car now?
Now I'm starting to feel
Everything
uncomfortable.
else. What?
Now I'm starting to feel uncomfortable.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna pass this around,
Okay.
let other people look at it, if you don't mind. Michael, can I pass that to Michael? Or do you want to look at it, John?
No, please.
You looked at it upside down, right?
What you're looking at.
One car, huh?
Or
Plus,
one big door to
plus.
get in and store all the stuff.
Yeah. It's almost, it's not close enough to use as a boathouse
For,
for a boat.
I can put it in
We're
on
on
a
the
trailer,
water.
if that's what you mean. No,
Yeah,
nothing,
no,
no, we're
no.
almost 100 feet from the water,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, it's a garage. One thing I've seen is a lot of garages.
Question,
Yeah. Go,
question.
go.
Other than your desire to put it there, why can't you put it anywhere else within this building envelope?
Because there's an existing building there now, and it is pretty ready to come down, so we want to
Yeah.
replace it there.
No, I get that.
Yeah, okay.
You want to take it down because the garage needs to be repaired.
Correct.
All right. Other than the desire to keep it in this location, why can't you put it anywhere else in this building envelope?
My septic is over here, my driveway runs right up through all this in here.
Yeah, your driveway comes down
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah.
it turns and goes
Correct.
around.
Yeah.
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
I looked at an aerial view.
Okay, oh,
Um,
good. This way
You
it's,
didn't take the ride?
I didn't take the
this
rest.
Oh,
way it's
Michael, you
acceptable
missed
to
it.
our home, it's right next to our home, so
I did, it looks
I can
good.
step out and go into the next door if we need something in there. Like the snow blower in the winter, instead of trying to truck up here.
I'll put it in this garage.
Uh,
Well, no, I'm just,
Yeah.
I'm not,
That'll be
The guy
closer.
wants to put a snow blower.
I think he has a lot of.
I'm not debating with you.
Snow blower's not personal.
I hope you don't see snow, I'll be honest with you.
Absolutely, yes.
I asked him if he had
That
a
almost called me,
driveway.
that
I'm
almost
just
called me.
trying to figure out what the
quite frankly.
hardship is.
I
That's
mean,
why I'm
you're
asking the
straddling it,
questions
you're
that I'm
riding
asking.
around.
Hardship.
That's,
Why are we looking?
Is it a
hardship?
variance?
I thought it was a
special
special permit.
Special permit.
Special
Yeah, all
permit,
right.
Mike.
Okay, sorry.
Yep.
The, well, yeah, I mean, the hardship is the
Never
topography
mind.
too.
Hard to fan that with, yeah.
Well, you're taking one down, you're putting one
Yeah,
up.
it's a replacement under that statute,
Correct.
under that bylaw. So, does anyone else have any more questions? The planning board, by the way, said that they have no, we have no objections to the request for the special permit. We got that reply from them. And is there anyone here that would like to speak to this issue? The building commissioner here, we have Mrs. Evers, would you like to say something?
No, I got nothing to say.
I move we close the public hearing.
I second it.
And that's seconded, all those in favor of closing the public hearing?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're gonna open a decision hearing,
I move to
Counselor?
open the decision hearing.
we're gonna open it. And it's
Seconded.
Seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent, thank you.
I move that we approve the application as requested for the special permit.
Okay,
I second it.
okay. Motion on the floor to approve the application, going by the plans that were presented for Mr. Evers by Allen Associates, Allen Engineering, and who did the other ones?
The
No,
drawings
did-
there?
Did Dick's do
Dick's did
those?
it, yes, yes.
Okay, so the Dick's plans for the garage be incorporated. So there's a motion on the floor, it's been seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent.
We need these, right?
They need the,
Yeah, you
Yes.
want the number off the
reference
bottom of the
number.
plan?
reference
90.
number.
Yeah, give it a reference.
What do you need?
Sure, it's pretty easy.
Drawing number 919-40-04/6.
Okay. Very good, and then we've got a copy of these. This can go with us. So that's good.
I've seen one or two of those.
You want to reference that ZBA plan?
I'm gonna
dated
actually put it there.
August 22nd, 2019 by
Okay.
Allen Engineering and Associates.
Good, thank you. That's in the records. Very good, thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you very
Have a
much.
good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hopefully, we didn't lose our chairman.
Oh, I think I can hear him out there.
Oh, good.
He's talking to
Still
somebody.
breathing.
Hey, Mike. I'll see them, we're all set.
Free to go?
You are free.
No, you must stay, sir.
You are free. Enjoy your evening.
Same numbers, because they just referenced the building numbers.
You didn't see the copies.
Yeah, I didn't have them.
What,
I got the
what?
plans here.
Yeah, so make sure you.
You need
same
them,
ones you're-
Maria?
Both plans, Mark.
Yeah, I will need a
References as
copy.
well.
Yes.
Can you,
Does he know? He needs,
All I'm saying is that make sure when you,
Every
when
four
your
days, we should
builder
have
or
meetings.
contractor
Yeah,
goes to
whenever you
submit
do
the
that.
building permit.
2.5 days. So we're gonna start at one point having you in the middle of the night. That sounds exciting.
Yeah, correct.
It'd be like seeing you part of a secret club.
You coming our jammies?
Yep, all right.
That's
Part of a
all.
secret club.
Very good.
yeah,
Remember that guy who hung up at the building who hung himself?
You don't need a
can have
copy of
it
these
there.
right now, then?
not right now.
When we submit for everything, you get these.
Either that or I'll
No,
call you.
one of those organizations.
What was that number again?
Really?
Oh,
Okay, Mr. Tissino, I apologize. I didn't mean, no disrespect. I apologize.
no, that's what I was talking about, Cuppies plans.
Yeah, these.
Okay,
Yes.
yep,
Couldn't see you as a
Thank you.
mason.
Bye now.
good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, you're a mason? I couldn't see you as a mason.
Yeah, Mason.
Really?
Yeah, real fireplace.
No, I know that kind of mason. I thought you meant one of the ones that are judge of our country.
Everybody's still trying to convince me they knew what they were talking about.
No, you still get it.
I'm sorry.
You know, I never allow Mr. Tissino anything I say to get in the way of anything that I mean. Those two things aren't good.
Hi, Brian.
Okay, so now,
Good, how are you?
here we are.
Yeah, you know.
The next
Lawyers and
agenda,
everything.
okay, guys.
Sorry.
Next agenda item is to meet with town council to discuss a variance decision and potential litigation.
Okay.
Brian, you want a copy of that decision?
Do we
You
need
know, I
to
brought my
adjourn
copy, unless you
this
changed
meeting
it.
To enter into
No.
executive.
The one I sent you.
I just duded it up, I did my thing.
So
If we're gonna go into
I'll move that we go into
session,
executive session and that we come out of executive session for the purposes of adjournment. Cam Holmes, aye.
Mike, we just have to say our name and aye.
Mike Fitzpatrick, aye.
It needs to be seconded, though.
Louis Tiziano.
Sean Holland, second eye.
Dan Heaney, aye.
Good. Now we're in
Okay.
executive session